Hope all honourable members will be doing the same. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Bravo.
Questions and comments? Commentaires? Questions and comments? Okay. The honourable member for Laurentide-Labelle.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was listening with some interest to the member's speech, and I was just wondering, there's been a lot of talk about the priorities of which aspects of the broken immigration system we should fix first. And I'm wondering if the member agrees that this is a really good place for us to start on Bill C-6 with the enormous breakage left to us by the previous government. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Good question.
The honourable member for Brampton South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for my honourable colleague for this question. This bill, C-6, ensured the safety and security of all Canadians. Our changes proposed will not compromise the security of Canadians. This is something our government is wholeheartedly committed to. This bill is focused to removing the fear which the Conservatives have been spreading and bringing in a solid system that is strong in the face of concern abroad. Canada remains a welcome, open symbol to the world. That is something I'm very proud of, because every Canadian is Canadian is Canadian.
That's right.
Questions and comments? The honourable member for Chilliwack Hope.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And the Liberals have certainly dined out on the phrase "a Canadian is a Canadian is a Canadian" for several months now. But of course, they have. That's not actually the case. They have provisions in this act, and the minister has indicated he's looking to remove the citizenship of dual Canadian citizens if they commit fraud. So if you're a terrorist, a convicted terrorist, who commits terrorism against Canada or Canadian interests, that's okay. You can always remain a Canadian, even if you're a terrorist. But if you commit fraud, then the Liberal government will come against you. So which one is it, and why the inconsistency?
Member for Brampton South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, for honourable colleague, for that question. Bill C-6, as I said, we are looking at that option too. During the campaign, we talked a lot about how the Conservatives are offered two-tier citizenship plan. They think our ministry should be able to say who is Canadian and who is not. Despite what they have done, they are still a Canadian. That should face that full force our legal system. We believe that we should deal with homegrown terrorists here in Canada, not strip them of one of their two citizenship so they can be shipped off somewhere.
Questions and comments? The honourable member for North Island, Powell River.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you so much for the speech of my honourable colleague. I'm just curious, you know, during the last Conservative government, we saw a huge increase in fees for people who were applying for citizenship, and I'm just wondering if the member can let us know what her plan, or what the member's plan and the government's plan is on decreasing these potentially.
Honourable member for Brampton South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my honourable colleague, for the question. This bill, what we promised in the campaign and what the Canadian endorsed, it is more fair for the people affected. That is what I'm focused on, and that is what the people of Brampton South expect me to be focused on. We said we have shortened processing times and get rid of the two-tier Conservative system. That is what our government said we would do. And it is what Canadians expect us to do, and that's what we are doing.
Questions and comments? The honourable member for Chilliwack Hope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Perhaps I'll try again. The member has just said a number of times that they are eliminating a two-tier citizenship, but that's simply not true. We understand that the Liberals, no matter what terrorist act you commit against this country, if you're a dual citizen, they will protect the citizenship of that terrorist, but they won't protect the citizenship of someone who commits fraud. So why is fraud a more serious crime against your citizenship than terrorism? Why are they having a dual citizenship, a dual track, two-tier systems for those that commit fraud?
The honourable member for Brampton South.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for my honorable member for that question. In this bill, C-6, we are just feeling that the challenges with the immigration system, the bill matters for giving those people I meet in my constituency, this is the bill for those people who have a deep love for Canada. Bill C-6 proposes to allow applicants to receive credit for the time they were legally in Canada before becoming permanent residents. This change is intended to help attract international students and experienced workers to Canada. And this is a plan that is good for our economy and inclusivity of our society. And again, I hope all members will support C-6. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Resuming debate, the honourable member for